President Buhari was there. Northerners supported him. You will not find northern groups attacking Buhari publicly. They may have been doing it privately, but in public, the northern media, the groups, the social groups and all that, for the most part, there may have been one or two that were very critical of him. For the most part, he enjoyed the support of his people. Now, President Tinubu came into politics through the Afenifere route, as you remember.
Yes.
I'm not making it up. I was there.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been in this business for a while. So he came through the Afenifere route, Alliance for Democracy and all of that. He was part of the struggle. Now, people see that, well, they think he's one of your own. Why is Afenifere going against one of their own?
Because,
what is his offense? What has he done?
Because Afenifere builds in social welfareism. Our policy, our ideology is totally different from what he's doing. We believe in social welfareism. He's coming up with neoliberal economic theories that have failed in every black country in the world. So the fact that you've been part of Afenifere does not mean, it's an ideological body. You said it's a Yoruba. No, if you really look at Awolowo and how Afenifere is, we are more about ideology than prependalist politics. We're not going to say that because Northerners, for some reason, kept quiet on Buhari, we will say that Yorubas, because you're a Yoruba president, we're going to, when you go to a market, it's not your, like Yorubas will say, oh, color, you understand? It's about people are suffering, people are hungry. And even if you look at it, it's Yoruba land that's suffering most. Because, if you look at, in North, they have 90% poverty rate in the first place, already in abject poverty. But what you're doing is dragging Yoruba land further into economic deprivation, you understand? So
guys, this man said that Tinubu has impoverished the Yorubas. He's dragging them into poverty. He wants them to be as poor like the Northerners. So guys, it don't happen. Afenifere has come out to support the upcoming protest. This was announced by their publicity secretary on Arise Television. So guys, everybody knows that, the people are hungry. And when people are hungry, you don't expect them to be quiet. You don't expect them to be quiet. Things are turning upside down in this country. And they are telling us to be patient. Remember when they started telling us to be patient? From the time Tinubu was sworn in, that he said subsidy has been removed. Since then, they've been pleading with Nigerians until his first year was over. Now he has entered the second year and things are rather getting worse. So at this point, Nigerians are saying no going back to the planned protest. Guess what? These people are wanting Nigerians to go home, sit down, and remain in hunger. Afenifere has come out to show their support for the upcoming protest. They said it's the people's right. And when you remove fuel subsidy, what do you expect? The people will revolt. That even if it were to be in its developed country, the people will still come out to protest. So guys, this protest is justified by every right-thinking Nigerian. Everybody who mean well for Nigeria.
We know this is a country that all of us have. At the end of the day, Nigeria is going to be better for all of for it.
While waiting for another stretch of approximately 45 minutes, another set of ministers came out. As we quickly approached the youth minister, who also appealed to the youth to maintain calm and restraint, while reiterating the federal government's commitment to the 110 billion naira youth intervention plan to support youth navigating turbulent business times.
I would just sincerely and genuinely advise my fellow young Nigerians to disassociate themselves from the planned protest, because it's really not a good act for the nation. We must all stand in solidarity with the nation, and beyond supporting government, we need to look at the entire Nigerian project and the impacts of the economic reforms, especially the macroeconomic reforms of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration is leading. We're going to be launching the Youth Investment Fund, opening the portal for the Youth Investment Fund that has recently been restructured and expanded from a 75 billion naira fund to a 110 billion naira fund. And we're going to be opening the portal for young people to gain access to the funds, and this has actually been in the works for a while, because the funds were approved since March of this year. But because we want to ensure that we learn from the mistakes of the past and ensure that we have a seamless process of disbursement to the right people who need these interventions. And as a short-term implementation of the Youth Investment Fund, we will be targeting businesses that are already existing but are going through the brunt of the economic reforms.
As the clock ticks with the youth in fury and disenchantment with an uncertain future, the onus rests on the government to put in place a meaningful intervention that will bring reprieve to the nation.
Joining us now for the views of Afenifere on the planned protests in Nigeria is Prince Justice Faloye, Publicity Secretary of Afenifere. And we were saying that a number of stakeholders, the NLC, the renewed agenda, the renewed Arewa group called RAIT, and also the IPCR from the north, an NGO from the north, and other people, even Ayemeri Mame from Warri, other people, they've spoken up, appealing to Nigerian youths to calm down, and also asking government to try and, talk to the angry youths or whoever the protesters are. Why haven't we heard from Afenifere? Why is Afenifere not saying anything? Is Afenifere planning to be part of the protest?
Afenifere is not planning to be a part of the protest, but we support anybody who wants to put, the fundamental human rights. And because we in Afenifere have been warning about this, about the economic policies, that if it continues, if you continue with the subsidies and the high inflation, there is no way you can stop people. You can't tell them not, you can't tell a hungry man to wait, and especially when they look at what's on the table, and they will realize that, there's nothing for them. And you say, give us some time. Time to do what? Because right from the beginning, we have showed you that you have gone on the wrong path. Afenifere has been saying that we need economic restructuring of this country. We need a political restructuring of this country. But all we have is palliatives and just superficial moves that we can't resolve anything. So we are not sponsoring it or support, but we support their right, and we acknowledge and we know why. Because, if you look at, there's nothing new in Nigeria. In this situation where anywhere you find a government, and I know you will probably know this, like right from 1978, where you had Ali must go. When you take out subsidies like this, people rise. And we want them that, you have to apply these policies with a human face. But no, you take out the energy subsidies and everything goes up. And if you realize in Nigeria, we have 90% small and medium enterprises who rely on this petrol, as the energy, and it's quadrupled. Then you have the foreign exchange, which has gone up. So how do you expect people to survive? And you're saying, hold on. So we understand it was, we saw it, and we were like, these policies that you're bringing, this is what it's going to lead to. But now you don't want to take responsibility for your economic policies, and you're blaming this person or saying, obedience or PDP or even Afenifere or anybody.
So what you are saying, as Afenifere spokesperson, that the Tinubu administration inflicted this 10 days of rage being proposed on itself because of his policies.
Yes, yes.
So you support it. You support the protest.
It's not that we support it. We understand that this is an organic reaction.
What is the difference? We're speaking English now. Afenifere is in support of the protest.
Yes, we support anybody who wants to protest against government policies, which we also understand that they're anti-people.
Okay.
You understand? Anywhere in the world, in about 66 black countries, we have had the same subsidies come, and we've had all these governments face riots. So it's not that it's some people who are pushing it or there's anarchy. And the main thing is that we don't support any violence. You understand? We support peaceful protest to voice your concerns. In most cases, it's not the protesters that actually cause the problem. It's the government or political talks that cause the issues.
Yeah.
Because normally people will march,
okay,
and maybe picket.
Okay.
But
all right.
yeah.
Let me come in here. So I think what we're trying to get is a statement, because Dr. Bati cited some of the groups who have come out categorically to say that we are for or we're against. So being a spokesperson of Afenifere, and I don't which faction, because so that they don't come and say that you are speaking for.
We have only one faction.
Well, I don't think that's
we have only one.
Some people would say.
Yeah.
But so I would like to know who's your leader, right? So that when they want to respond, they won't say that you are not speaking for Afenifere as a whole. But in terms of your side, categorically, are you supporting? Are you going to?
Yes, we support.
Okay.
Yes, we support.
So that's a clear statement.
Yes.
You support. Now, in saying that, what are some of the things? Because what they've said is that if you're protesting, number one, the government has said that it might lead to anarchy, right? Are you concerned about that? Number two is that there are no clearly, who is the leader of this protest? What are your maybe 3 points, 4 point, 5 point agenda that you're agitating for? And what would response?
We are not agitating, but we understand that there's a protest coming up.
Okay.
And we understand that it's due to the hunger in the land.
Yes.
And we are cautioning that, look, we don't want any violence.
Okay.
But we don't know the leaders or, you understand?
But you're supporting the protest?
Yes, we support.
All right, so you go out.
People to.
All right, okay, all right, that's fair enough.
I mean, you've made clear that you are in support of the protests themselves and also the right to protest, because
yes,
often it seems as though that's a distinction. We support the right to protest, but perhaps we're still cautioning you against protesting. In this situation, when you look at the presidency of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, are you saying that you are not in support of his presidency? Do you think he has failed, and that is why that is what's led to this situation where a 10-day protest is just around the corner?
Yes, right from the beginning we've been saying, once they said subsidies were dead, we're like, there's nowhere in the world that you won't have this kind of situation. There was an article which said that the way you are going to, the whole political class is going to move us, and the whole country. It is not those who are protesting or who want to protest that is endangering the polity. It's the government policies. You cannot remove subsidies like that anywhere. Even in England or America or the richest countries in the world, if you remove the subsidies in England today, within 2 weeks, you will find the same protests come out. So for us to say, no, people should remain hungry, it's totally unfair. And
so you do think that the presidency is failing the people at this point?
Definitely.
You're not in support of the presidency?
Definitely, because we believe that he's being superficial. He should restructure the economy. We have an economy where it's just a processing, it's a colonial economy, I would say, because majority of people are just trading, retail. We have 30% of our employment and income coming from agriculture. We have another 40% from retail. Now, government after government, what have you done to change the fundamentals of the economy? You understand? And Afenifere has said, look, for us to get manufacturing jobs, which is required, you understand? If you look at the economic history of most countries, you realize that you develop a railway system, because the railway system builds industrialization. Have agreed, you understand? Instead of this north-south, have east. We've, both economical both economic and political restructuring. And we've been pushing it, and all he's done is give 100,000 families these palliatives, not means tested. And we've had this over and over and over. But I think President Tinubu was so sure that he could go where no other government has gone. As bad as General Buhari was, there was an interview, they asked him that, are you going to push these policies? And he said, I can't do it to my people.
Okay, Mr. 2 quick things. I asked you a question, which I don't think you've answered.
Yes.
You wanted to know which faction of Afenifere do you represent? You said there is no faction. Okay, let me even restate the question.
Yes.
Are you in the Baba Adebanjo camp, or you are in the Baba Factional camp? It's a question you need to ask.
I am with Baba Adebanjo. I recognize Baba Adebanjo as my leader.
Okay, very good. Now, to the next question. What's your response to this narrative? There are people who say that when President Buhari was there, Northerners supported him. You will not find Northern groups attacking Buhari publicly. They may have been doing it privately, but in public, the Northern media, the groups, the social groups and all that, for the most part, there may have been one or two that were very critical of him. For the most part, he enjoyed the support of his people. Now, President Tinubu came into politics through the Afenifere route, as you remember.
Yes.
I'm not making it up. I was there.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been in this business for a while. So he came through the Afenifere route, Alliance for Democracy and all of that. He was part of the struggle. Now, people see that, well, they think he's one of your own. Why is Afenifere going against one of their own?
Because
what is his offense? What has he done?
Because Afenifere builds in social welfareism. Our policy, our ideology is totally different from what he's doing. We believe in social welfareism. He's coming up with neoliberal economic theories that have failed in every black country in the world. So the fact that you've been part of Afenifere does not mean, it's an ideological body. You said it's a Yoruba. No, if you really look at Awolowo and how Afenifere is, we are more about ideology than a prependalist politics. We're not going to say that because Northerners, for some reason, kept quiet on Buhari, we will say that Yorubas, because you're a Yoruba president, we're going to, when you go to a market, it's not your, like Yorubas will say, oh, color, you understand? It's about people are suffering, people are hungry. And even if you look at it, it's Yoruba land that's suffering most. Because, if you look at, in North, they have 90% poverty rate in the first place, already in abject poverty. But what you're doing is dragging Yoruba land further into economic deprivation, you understand? So, of course we have to talk. Even if he was my brother, you understand? Even if he was my father, if we come together and we push him and say, look, we understand these policies. These are things that have been going on for 60, 70 years, you understand? So you don't just come up, and you come up with and you see we've been warning him that, look, a president, these policies will never, ever work. So when you're saying that, give us time, you don't take money from an economy and expect it to expand. It's not possible. You've taken, because many people were saying, petrol was consumption. No, in Nigeria, the subsidy of petrol was a production subsidy. And since that has been taken out, it has affected every part of our economy. And so how do you expect that economy to ever grow? Then you let the naira float. You understand? In any other country, they will say, okay, it has a 10% bottom margin, but this fell through 1,000%. And now we can say that, okay, what about reducing the cost of governance? Because if you see, we have about 50% of our expenditure on cost of governance, which covers only about 1% of the population, about 5% at most, then the rest of our 250 or 200 million people share this 25%, then we have about another 25% for capital infrastructure. Now, you want to cut out of that, and you're now cutting from the 25% for 200 million people and not doing anything about the cost of governance. So what do you want to tell the youth? The youth are, entrapped, and that's why they are leaving the country.
Okay. We hear you. Thank you so much. And I think it's important, and I just made reference to President Joe Biden's speech,
yes,
where he said that he revered the office of the presidency, but he also was more, interested in the nation. And that's what we've come here to demonstrate this morning, that beyond, your ethnicity, beyond where you're from, you're more interested in good governance, good leadership.
That's what matters.
According to Afenifere, at least your faction, they don't see that under this administration. So tell us, paint a picture for us, what would look like good governance, and and I asked that question earlier, what are some of the things that you want this government to do in the immediate? The reality is that we have a Tinubu presidency currently, and so there are certain things that you want to happen. What would you like to see happen? That's number one. Then going back to my first question, I still want you to respond to the SGF. We played a report just a few minutes ago around the concerns around anarchy, the fact that this could potentially be hijacked by unscrupulous elements. And so in interest of national security, let's go to the dialogue table and no protest. What do you have to say about that? Are you concerned about the safety of Nigerians if they do go on to protest?
Your first question is that what do we want done?
Yes, in the immediate.
Yes, and it's economic and a political restructuring. We need that change. But when you talk about the immediate, there's nothing that we can do immediately because we have a rotten economy. I mean, the fundamentals of the economy and the political system needs to be changed. So you just can't throw money and say, okay, give these people 100 million, give that. All you're going to do is money down the drain.
Yeah. So what do you want to see, very specifically? Because it's important. They're watching, they're listening.
We want economic restructuring. We want him to build meaningful infrastructure, economic infrastructure. We believe that for Nigeria, we need heavy manufacturing jobs. Right. And the only way you can get heavy manufacturing jobs, like other industrialized countries, is to build a full railway complex, because that is the largest iron and plastic business, which now has multiplier effect.
So guys, you have seen it for yourself that Nigerians are hungry, and every well-meaning Nigerian should come out to support this protest. I mean, this is justifiable, because if people should just keep quiet without expressing their grievances, guess what? That can lead to depression. That can lead to other health challenges. But people are coming out to tell you that things are not working, business are not moving, there are no job opportunities. So many things are wrong in this country. And guess what? We have leaders who cannot sit down and think. They don't even want to employ younger hands to help them. They want to do everything by themselves. And guess what? They are not doing it rightly. So you can imagine in this 21st century, how many young people are working with Tinubu? How many? We are talking about the internet business and all that. How many Nigerians are being empowered to learn how to do some stuffs online so as to earn in dollars and be able to take care of themselves and their families? When this government has failed to provide job opportunities, I think the only thing they would have resorted to is to take advantage of the internet. That is exactly what India is doing. That's what they've been doing. And guess what? India has progressed so much. I mean, India has moved their people from poverty, and they are far, far ahead of Nigeria. These were countries that Nigeria was better than. These were countries that you can't compare them with Nigeria before now. But today, today, despite their population, they are able to take care of their people better than Nigerian government. So guys, this is where Nigerians are angry. This is where people will just say it's politically motivated. Doesn't mean these people don't live in Nigeria. Anyway, they are enjoying the taxpayers' money because they don't even know how much things cost in the market, because they use the taxpayers' money to take care of themselves and their families, and even the school fees of their children are paid using taxpayers' money. We all saw that of Kogi State Governor. Today, he's nowhere to be seen. They said they can't arrest him. That's to tell you the kind of country we have found ourselves in. So guys, let me know what you think about this video in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell. Thank you.